He's just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
I'm ready.
Lose the
I'm
goddamn attitude.
Ready to kick it off.
DeLeone and Sean Anderson, two former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Welcome back to Hack City, folks. We are previewing week 5 of college football action. The slate does not live up to what we had last week, but we still do have 3 amazing games that we're going to be talking about. That being Oregon State versus Utah. We're going to be talking about Notre Dame versus Duke. I know I'm living the dream getting to talk about Notre Dame 2 weeks in a row. And then last, we are going to get to Texas playing Kansas. Sean. Actually, I'm not going to ask how you're doing. I forgot.
Why not? Why not? No, you should ask.
No, because you spend too much time.
I've been insulted by a man growing an orange beard, and I don't know if I really like that.
Okay, so look, we'll get this out of the way. We have the beard bet going. We both look terrible. You have the worst beard genetics that I've ever seen in my life. Please lift up just do the thing that you keep. You're not growing it anywhere. It's not. It's just all.
It's all over the place. It's
here.
all over the place. It's all underneath.
The stupid camera.
I
thought I had bad beard genetics. You have worse beard genetics than I do.
Screw you. It's coming in nice and thick right there, right on the side of the face.
You look.
This sucks.
Terrible.
This beard sucks. It's awful. The only time my beard looks good is 3 days after shaving. 1 day fewer is just a bald face. 1 day after, it starts looking like this. Patches Gillicuddy, whatever his stupid name is in dodgeball.
Houlihan.
Oh.
Yeah. This is not to spend too much time on it. This had to have been one of the dumbest things that you've suggested, and I extremely regret it. My face is so itchy and uncomfortable. Like I'm done with this thing. I'm so sick of this stupid beard that you forced me into growing.
You're going to be riding it out until October, because if you touch it again with the razor, that's just another 3 points on my side. And honestly, right now, I think Oregon getting 6 is fair for the line, looking at Washington. I think that's fair.
Well, if we're going to do that,
so
then I want to get to shave my neck one more time, and I'll give you another 3 points. I don't care.
So then I'll be at 6. Then I'll be getting 6 points.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And then I just have to win. Okay, that's how it goes.
Speaking of betting, Sean, can you just tell our listeners about BetOnline?
Why not? My hot streak is continuing. I think I have hit a little baby parlay each night of the week and the weekend. I think I had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little Monday action. So I have not been very upset with the betting gods lately. And if you want to have winning a little bet be the best part of your life that you have going sometimes, you're like, at least I won the bet. And you're looking at your idiot friends putting together 8-leg parlays, and you can just laugh at them quietly, just know, losers. Then go to betonline.ag. Set up your own parlay. A little wide receiver over action, a little running back under action. How about game under actions? Hit so many under bets this weekend. Nobody wants to score the ball, and they just want to give you their money by taking the unders. It's un-American, but I get it. From week 1 all the way to the college football playoff and Super Bowl, BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Do I look blurry to you?
You look kind of. That was gonna be a little. That was gonna come off.
Oh, you were gonna be mean.
I held it. I held it.
You're a dick. Starting us off with the game that's played on Friday, we actually finally have a good Friday game. Oregon State is playing Utah. Oregon State comes off of a loss against Washington State, which was one of the most impressive performances from Washington State. They proved to me, I think they belong in that 10-11 discussion as one of the top teams in the country because they're so well-rounded. Oregon State, they looked good at the start of the year, lost a little bit of their footing. On the other hand, Utah's surviving without Cam Rising. The quarterback situation's not great, and they played a really ugly game against UCLA. They still pulled out with the victory because of how freaking good their defense is. Sean, for me, the biggest thing that I am focused on in this game is, one, how does DJU play? He doesn't need to go all out and have an amazing game because he's going up against Nate Johnson, who has been fine, has been an explosive athlete, but has not been the best passer. But DJU needs to have a much cleaner performance than the one that he had against Washington State. At the same time, Oregon's got to keep doing what they're doing defensively because they are getting after quarterbacks. They are forcing turnovers. Cole Bishop is a rocket coming down the field as that hybrid safety linebacker box player that he is. There are just so many well-coached defenders on that Utah defense. And if they keep doing what they're doing, this could be a long day for the Beavs.
Yeah, this seems like it's going to be the first real deal true test of a defense. No slight to Wazoo. But the Utah defense is legit. That is what has carried Utah to their record. It has not been the quarterbacking. It has not been the offense. It has been the, head-hunting cannibals on defense is the only way I can describe them. A defense that's out for blood. And that's a fun defense to watch. So Oregon State, buckle up because you're nice and flashy. You got talent. You got some good animosity towards the rest of the Pac-12. I can't get enough of Oregon State this year. I can't get enough of Washington State this year. I wish they played each other at the end of the year so I could still have that waiting for me. But now it's just the revenge tour. Now we just get to see Oregon State go out and just looking for blood, which they could find. But Utah is seemingly that dude at the bar. That's what they seem like. The one dude, you shake his hand, and you wonder why his hand feels like it's filled with lead. That is who Utah is. You're like, damn, what? I know me. I lift some weights. Why is his hand? Why do I feel like I have a child's hand right now? I don't like this. That's how Utah makes you feel.
Utah, I don't mean to cut you off. I really like that analogy. Utah is like the guy at the bar when a fight breaks out. He's not the one who starts it, but he's the one who finishes it. Like he just comes out of nowhere, ends the fight, and does it as stoically as possible. That's what they feel like.
The problem is with Florida, they started the fight and they crushed them early in the season. I like it though. Utah is just a scary dude in the bar. So Oregon State, maybe try to talk your way out of it with some nice flashy offense. So you just got to stay disciplined. I like a lot of what they're doing. It's not going to be you really need to hammer down on this game. It's just going to be play a fundamentals game, win both sides of the ball, convert on third down, get some yards every first down, and then just keep on chopping wood. Keep on chopping wood because if you can score points, it's going to be hard for Utah to score points. It is hard for them. They're struggling with that without Cam Rising, and Utah is underdogs in this game, which I might bring up a little bit later in another segment. But this will be a fun, tasty line. It's a fun game, a little Pac-12 action, best conference in the nation right now.
I was a little iffy on placing that. Actually, I might have actually placed that bet. I'm going to double check. I do like that bet though. I do like the Utah plus 3.5. Actually, I might have done the opposite of you. I'm going to check that in a second before I keep
this is where, here's the thing. We can't both be thinking the same thing, or else it's all going to go to hell.
Look, you bring up, no, I didn't end up betting on that because I was afraid to touch that because of how evenly matched these two teams are. But I do really like Utah. It's weird that we're favoring Oregon State because of the slow quarterback play. But the thing that we've seen on a week-to-week basis, Sean, is that Utah, despite different guys, Bryson Barnes, Nate Johnson stepping in. Nate Johnson had that one final drive against Baylor where he kind of closed the game out and took over running the football. But they still haven't really figured out the offensive rhythm here because it's like, do you go to Bryson Barnes, who's the better passer, or do you go to Nate Johnson, who's just so hard to keep up with as an athlete? I think that even though they've been going through all this without Cam Rising, they still have been so stout defensively. They have won because of their defense. Usually a lot of times in modern college football, it's because you win because of good quarterback play. And instead it's, we're going to play gap sound, fundamental sound, attacking defense on every single play. I don't know what the situation is with Cam Rising though, because there was that possibility that he might play against UCLA, and then he didn't. He's been warming up. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I'm going to go off of the assumption that he is not going to play in this game. If Cam Rising plays, it's a lock for me. But I'm going to go off of the assumption that he doesn't, and I'm going to trust Utah's defense to come out here, cause problems for DJU. Oregon State does not really have the receivers that we would hope. They don't have the explosiveness that we would want to see that was supposed to save DJU from himself.
Yeah, for the Rising situation, I'm just putting my faith in Kyle Whittingham. He's been there before. He's been around the block. He's one of those dudes where whatever you're doing, I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust you know what you're doing. You've been at one program for so long. You've been effective for so long. If Cam Rising can't play this week or you think he needs another week, I believe you. I believe that he is not making the wrong decision when it comes to stuff like that. In-game stuff, okay, we can beef about little things. But with just pregame execution, he is not a coach that I really defer or what is the word? That I feel does the wrong thing. Disagree with. There we go. Okay. Disagree. That's the word.
Okay. I was so perplexed by what word you were going for.
It was only one word, and that's all it could have been. And I didn't have a synonym for disagree.
I'm proud of you that your brain cells just decided to start working.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I think, though, just a final thought here. I'm sticking with Utah. I think that Oregon State's a fun team. I think they're probably going to finish with like 4 losses, but for them to beat one of the top teams in the conference, I just don't think they're there yet. Otherwise, they would have beaten Washington State last week.
Oh, Washington State's a horse of a different color, though. They are just they're just too much fun. Cam Ward's he's playing out of his mind right now. I almost don't even count that as an Oregon State loss because of how out of this world Cam Ward has been. There's got to be a come down. There has to be.
Well,
and there might be.
I don't think there's going to be. And I will go as far as to say this. I think that Washington State is better than Utah right now. I think that even if Cam Rising comes back, I think that Washington State is better than Utah. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to admit that, but I'm going to admit that. I believe that there's truth to that. But it still does not mean that there is a likelihood that Oregon State wins this game. I think that there was some legitimate exposure to the weaknesses that are on this Oregon State roster, which are their lack of explosive receivers. It's kind of ironic that this is where we are, that DJU escapes Clemson and everyone starts getting all excited about him, but then we see against Washington State, he's got nobody. You know, he's got a fine group of guys. Maybe it's a little better than what the Clemson situation used to be, but if the guy doesn't have someone explosive to get the football to like he did his freshman year when he played those few games, he's kind of a sitting duck.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, looking at it again, checking back in on it. Not a truly inspired performance out of DJU last week. 198, a touchdown, a pick. Looking at the receiving. Not the
DJU that we knew from
This is a DJU stat line. It is. And they were 3 points away from winning the game and holding on. Or 6 points rather. But gosh. It just you look at him in the pocket, you're like, how is he not torching people? Because he just has that look of a quarterback, especially in college, that is going to carve up a defense. That's going to manipulate a linebacker that could get free. He's big, he's strong, good arm. Everything. The legs look right. Everything looks right. And maybe eventually it does get right. But right now, I'm still taking Oregon, getting all up in his kitchen.
Texas versus Kansas is a really fun matchup for me. I really think that Texas ends up winning this game. I don't really totally see a strong, likely path for Kansas to come out with this victory here. But I'm paying close attention to this because I think it could cause some chaos. And I think that Kansas, we love to coin the term chaos team. I think Kansas this year might be the chaos team. I really think that they might be the team that can go around causing problems. I see them right now as the 3rd or 4th best team in the Big 12. And if you come out of this game where they're pretty heavily underdogs, they're like a 17-point dog. What are you doing over there? Are you good?
I'm thinking, you said 3rd or 4th. I'm trying to see who you got Kansas over in my mind. I'm trying to think. I'm doing math.
You looked like you were having digestive problems and that you had to move.
I'm sitting here doing my math in my head. 3rd or 4th. That means he's got Kansas over possibly Kansas State. He's got Kansas over Texas.
No,
Oklahoma.
not over
I'm
Texas.
just
Oklahoma.
saying. I'm doing my math here, thinking who the hell
Texas,
is
Oklahoma, Kansas. That's where I'm going with there. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas.
You tell me Kansas plays Kansas State right now. You're taking Kansas.
Yes. Kansas State looked weak against Missouri.
Oh, you're crazy.
You're
a crazy person.
That look that you made, though, you look like you were in absolute angst. I don't know. Look,
that's me doing math.
Here's my problem with Kansas. Why I'm like not fully in. They played 3 really good football games, and then they laid an absolute egg against Nevada, a team that they should have blown out of the water. But the rest of their games, they've looked really good. They're explosive offensively. They fly all over the field on defense. They force turnovers. BYU's not a slouch. BYU beat Arkansas, who has guys. Like, that's not like they came back on Arkansas. I don't try to do the transitive property much on this show because it doesn't really mean a lot in college football. But I just think that they've got that little charisma that allows them to be this chaotic team that could show up and upset a team like Texas. I just don't think it's possible. I just think that Texas is going to use this as another opportunity to say, y'all are trying to come up with reasons why we're going to lose this week. You wanted to pick Alabama. We're going to continue to prove that we're a really freaking good team this year.
Yeah, this is Texas's game. They're going to win. That's how it's going to work. I can't believe what you said about the Big 12 rankings, but that's fine. Kansas is fun. Kansas creates chaos. Whenever Kansas is scoring, it looks like it's just a whole team bats out of hell. I enjoy that. I enjoy their style of football. I think Lance Leipold is fantastic. I think he's going to get signed for big money. Texas A&M money. Bye-bye, Jimbo. Lance is here money. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
What, you think that college coaches are going to get paid less?
No. I just don't know if he ends up at Texas A&M. The one that I threw out there that people hated on Ruffino and Joe, I had a couple people who are like, he's not going to end up. I said Texas Tech. I think Joey McGuire gets fired.
Possible, yeah. That almost seems like a lateral move right now. It almost feels like Kansas.
No. The pockets of the Texas Tech.
I know there's pockets. I'm just saying. I'm saying just for team roster skill. I think that would be loud. I think Texas Tech is Kansas could be Texas Tech.
Kansas is better than Texas Tech right now.
Yeah,
so that's right now. That's because of Lance Leipold.
Gosh, yeah, exactly.
But I love continue your point about the game though.
Kansas, I love what you wrote in the doc here. Be aggressive, take shots if you're Kansas. Yes, do it. Take shots. Do a double pass. Do a triple pass. Flea flicker. I don't care what you do. Run the push play. I don't care. Don't go out and do what you've been doing because Texas has 30 assistants, 30 analysts that are going to tell you that have what you have been doing trend wise. So you got to throw. It's got to be a full wrinkle game. I'm talking weathered wrinkles, working in the sun wrinkles, big, deep wrinkles. You got to change it up. And if you do, it'll be fun for everybody.
Leipold has historically been somebody who's been aggressive, and I think that he has shown to us that he's not afraid to step in a situation like this and say, we've got nothing to lose. A lot of people are picking against us. We're going to do whatever it takes. And that's why I think that there is that possibility because Jalen Daniels, too, is a really good quarterback, and he continues to show really nice stuff on a week-to-week basis. And I think that the more good games he strings together against good opponents, he's going to continue to build this quality resume as one of the better players in all of college football. But he's just not getting recognized for it because he beat Illinois and BYU, so he's not on the national landscape. Instead, everyone wants to talk about, Michael Penix and Shedeur Sanders, all the typical faces that have been blasted in front of us, but no one is giving Jalen Daniels his flowers, even though he absolutely deserves it. And I think that what could maybe lead to this upset happening is that Jalen Milroe obviously played a terrible game. He's nowhere near the level of passer of Jalen Daniels, but they're similar athletes. Jalen Milroe is a better athlete than Daniels, but Daniels can still threaten the defense in similar ways. I would think that maybe some of those ways that Jalen Milroe did threaten, that Jalen Daniels could do those same things against Texas. But
I bet they're watching a lot of Bama film saying what worked with this dude. I bet they're watching a ton of it. Here's how I see it. If it's going to be close, it's because Texas comes in this game sleepy. That's how it's close. And then
Right.
if you're a hardcore bettor, maybe that first half Kansas cover. Maybe you take that because Texas could be sleepy, overlooking Kansas like everyone always overlooks Kansas, even though Sark, I believe, will be saying don't overlook these dudes because they have talent, they have a quarterback, and they have a defense that really hustles. But if the players go out sleepy, then Kansas could give them problems early.
Right. So again, this all comes back to, I know the way that we've presented this made it seem like we're picking Kansas. I'm not. I'm picking Texas because they did their thing against Baylor. You know, they realized that they were sleepwalking against Wyoming, and they very clearly are like, all right, we need to quit messing around. We need to do what we did against Alabama, and we need to just keep doing it against everyone we played. And Kansas is another opportunity for that. I think there's a lot of people out there that are questioning the validity of the Alabama win because of how bad Alabama has looked. And you know what you do to silence those people? You come out and you beat the crap out of Kansas, who is ranked this week.
Yeah, you have a quality win against a legitimate. This could be a good win for Texas when it's coming down to the final selections. Like if Kansas keeps it up, this is something that people will say is that's a good in-conference win. It's not going to be a rollover. You didn't beat Northwestern. You didn't beat Virginia Tech. You didn't stomp down a G5. You beat Kansas, who's been playing their ass off. So this could be a huge win for Texas coming down late in the season. They'll be thanking themselves that they took it seriously.
Last game, Notre Dame versus Duke. Notre Dame looking to rebound after their loss to Ohio State. The way that I see that this game unfolds, for Duke to really scare Notre Dame, Riley Leonard needs to do his thing. He needs to do what he did against Clemson, and they need to force early turnovers like they did against Clemson. They did a really good job of forcing stupid mistakes, did a really good job of just capitalizing. That's the bigger thing for me. They capitalized on the mistakes. Teams that capitalize on turnovers and mistakes tend to be very successful in the world of college football. If you're Duke, you have to do that. But at the same time, they don't really have any receivers. They don't really have any skill position players outside of Riley Leonard that if I'm Notre Dame, I'm worried about. You keep Riley Leonard in check. You pressure him. You haven't done an effective job of getting after opposing quarterbacks. Be aggressive this game. Get in his face. Because realistically, he's not going to get the ball to anyone that's going to really, really gouge you and kill you. I think that Notre Dame has an opportunity this week after Duke has done what they've done at the start of the season, looked very, very dominant, to say, look, you guys doubted us after Ohio State. You said that we were cooked and that we were done. Well, we came out here and we beat the crap out of Duke because we're tired of being doubted. Stop squinting your goddamn eyes. Stop
like
squinting your goddamn eyes.
What am I doing wrong here? I'm watching my co-host and friend talk about a game that's being played, and somehow I'm being attacked for it. I don't know who's been doubting Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure the national media has been
what
like,
are you talking about?
That was pretty good. I think they said they put out a good game and a loss.
There's two sides to it. Yes, there are people that are like, that was impressive, but there are plenty of other people that on Twitter and on shows that have listened to have said that Notre Dame is not as good as some people are making them out to be.
Well, they're going to be good this game because Sam Hartman, I believe he's comfortable playing in the Carolinas. I'm not worried about him going to Duke in front of the crowd. He played in Wake Forest. It's going to be a comfortable environment for him. I think that helps the quarterback. Notre Dame's dying to look legit right now, and if they beat Duke, it is same with even better than Texas beating Kansas. This would be a better win. This would be a better win, which is crazy saying that Duke and Kansas would be validating wins for a CFP push. But this is where we're at in college football, and I love it. I love it. The one thing that you got to know is that Mike Elko and that Duke defense is going to harass that offense. And if you make a mistake, they will make you pay. They will pressure you. They will have it schemed up. Duke will have Notre Dame schemed up. Whatever Ohio State did to put the clamps on them, to hold them to, what you have, 13 points in the game? Or whatever?
10.
10? They will try to keep you to 10 again. And you'll probably get more than 10 because they don't have the Ohio State athletes. But boy, I do not see Notre Dame putting up 30.
Well, the clamps that were put on Notre Dame were the result of them being overly conservative in their play calling. I really think that this is one of those games where they say, you know what, we got to let Sam Hartman go. We just need to let him go throw the ball 30 times. But the other thing, too, why I really think that this is a very heavily favorable matchup for Notre Dame is the fact that despite only giving up 7 points, and there were obviously all those errors against Clemson, Clemson still ran for 213 yards, and that was with Will Shipley. Like, that was basically the only guy who produced all those yards.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is a really, really good running back room. I think this is going to be like a 250-plus day. They're going to run like hell, and they're going to open up this offense. This is one of those weeks where you start the game hot and pissed off, and you pick up a lot of chunk plays, and you just show up to prove those doubters wrong. Stop smirking at me.
That's normally how I start my Saturdays, hot and pissed off. I'm in my pants from the night before. The fan stopped halfway through the night. Dude, you wouldn't believe it. And this is just quick banter. Sunday morning, I've never been this hot and pissed off in my life. Waking up, and I wake up. I'm like, all right, cool. But it's not normal wake up time. It is smoke alarm blaring all throughout the house. Wake up. I think the house is on fire. Emergency wake up.
Oh, no.
What do you think's going on? I got a bozo trying to season his cast iron skillet in the oven. And we know we have smoke detectors or fire alarm, whatever it is, that you just can't get away with it. They are hair trigger. So all throughout that, it won't stop.
How do you manage to set off a smoke detector with
something that is the pan started smoking up? I don't know what he did. The oil in that he bought a cheap cast iron skillet. He doesn't know how to use it.
I know who this is.
Doesn't know how to season it. Of course, you know who it is.
You know,
of course you know.
Okay, all right. It was the one who last time we were recording was downloading a terabyte of porn that I said. Is it?
I think so. I don't know. Here's what I know. Here's what I can guarantee. If they do wake up hot and pissed off like I did on Sunday, Notre Dame, then Duke better be worried because I was ready to run through some walls. Just cause. But I mean, maybe this game will come up in the next segment also.
Oh, you're a dick. You're such a dick. You're such a dick that I just saw that. All right, betting segment. Here's our betting picks for the week.
Rutgers.
So it doesn't. By the way, there's no betting line for Rutgers Wagner. So you're lucky. You're lucky this week, Sean. You're welcome. You're lucky that there is no betting line for Rutgers Wagner. Otherwise, I'd be continuing my streak. I went 3-0 again. I'm 12-3. I'm at 80%. You're stumbling ass. Who I don't care if you pick Duke to cover. I don't care.
Why are you spoiling the? Why you?
Dead. You're 8-7. You're 53%. You stink. What? Share the Duke pick. Just get it out of the way. You stink.
I'm trying to find a Rutgers line.
People be broke if they were following you.
Whoa.
Fade Sean. Auto fade Sean. What's your Duke Notre Dame pick? Give it.
Duke Notre Dame pick. Yeah, there's not a line out for that Rutgers.
I looked. Trust me, I looked. I was so upset. What's your pick?
Yeah, I'll start off with maybe my tell your friend, tell your mother. Duke getting 5.5 points from Notre Dame at home. Home dog, well-coached team, good quarterback, hosting a team coming off a brutal loss, emotional dump. Joe, these are facts. These are just facts. I'm not getting under your skin here. These are just facts of the matter.
You wouldn't have picked him.
Yes, I would have. This is a good line. This is a good line. You're coming off a weird week where the coach made a dumb call and didn't do the penalty, so there might be some more second guessing because he knows the nation's eyes are still on him, seeing and hoping or he messes up or rooting for that he doesn't. So that's some added pressure. And then you're pressurized because Notre Dame fans are still adding pressure because Brian Kelly would have never done that, which he might not have.
That was the opposite sentiment. The opposite sentiment was if that was Brian Kelly, we were getting blown out. So no.
Okay. All right. Fine. I don't know. All right. Whatever you say.
All right. You're
why are you mad? Why are you mad? Duke
because it's a bad pick. They're not going to. This is going to be less than a 5-point game. There's no shot.
There's plenty of a shot.
There's no shot.
Okay. Take the other way. Take the other way.
Pitt versus UVA. Pitt versus Virginia Tech, rather. I'm taking Pitt -3 against Virginia Tech. When you have a team that is just consistently terrible, you got to keep picking against them. I think that Pitt's been bad, And I think that this might be a little bit of a recovery game. I know that there's been a lot of injuries, but give me this one as my recovery game. What's your second pick?
Yeah, Virginia Tech isn't Pitt bad, even though Pitt is bad. My second game, I will go with Utah getting 3.5 points versus Oregon State. Road dog, okay, that's a little different, but it's Utah, and I think that their defense can make up for 3.5 points. I do think that they could. I know that I'm not banking on a Utah defensive touchdown, even though it helped last week. It's possible. I think they do get some turnovers. I do think they get the ball in the offense's hands a couple more times. So I'm going with Utah 3.5. Better coach team and a mean as hell team.
The Scandal Special returns Iowa minus 11.5 versus Michigan State. I know that is a very ambitious line, but I think that after you get completely blanked by Penn State and you call one of the worst games ever, Ferentz is feeling a little heat on his ass. He doesn't come out here and say, you know what, I need to really, really put up some points, and they don't try to completely blow out Michigan State to help save his job. I mean, I could totally see them putting up like 35. And I know that's hilarious. That's like
Iowa putting up 35 points.
Michigan State is bad. It is
I know they are. Colin, clip it. Somebody clip it.
All right, your last pick.
Who says that?
Trust me, I'm feeling it. What's your last pick?
Oh, God, I've never felt that. Washington, University of Washington, giving 18 points to Arizona. They are rolling. They are on scorching hot fire, so I can have them continuing that. And then Arizona, bottom dweller of the Pac-12. Don't know how they got a deal before Wazoo and Oregon State. Well, I do, but I get it. But they are going to get beat the hell down by Washington because Washington is not in the mood to play around and mess up their chances for a CFP berth.
Last one, I think Louisville has been really good, and they're playing against NC State. NC State looked really troubling against Virginia last week, so give me Louisville -3 against NC State. Last thing that I want to talk about on today's show, so it was there's a video that's going around today. It's not super viral, but Diego Pavia, who I believe is it New Mexico State's quarterback? Wait, let me pull this up really quick. He was New Mexico State's quarterback, and he was caught pissing on New Mexico's logo on their practice field. Now, I believe that this was before they played each other, which was very recently. But I have to say that everyone is so upset over this and is like, wow, this is such a disgusting act. This is such a terrible thing that has happened. And New Mexico State won 27-17. This was 2 weeks ago. I think this is awesome. I think this is a power move. This is such a power move. You win by 10 points and then you piss on their practice field. That takes balls. I respect it. I respect that.
It takes balls. I don't respect it. It is a disgusting act. It is gross. Your defense of this is crazy given your internal border system when we were roommates. And you couldn't walk in Joe's room. You couldn't use Joe's things. About? So having the pissing on the logo, I'm just saying it's uncharacteristic. It's interesting though. I haven't seen some rivalry stuff like this go this bonkers. It's not, we stole the other team's mascot. This is, our quarterback pissed on your field.
That's based.
You have to do something about that.
That's based.
And they didn't, which makes it would have been a bigger story if the pisser lost. But because they won, everyone just has to shut up and realize that he pulled off a gangster move. It's not a great move, but it's a gangster-ass move, okay? That's how I have to deem it.
He had a hell of a stat line, too. He goes 9 for 14 for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also rushed for 96 yards on 11 carries.
How long did he piss for? I like those stats.
Oh, my God.
Stream.
I don't know, man. I respect it. I don't think I'd ever have the guts to piss on
Who's
someone.
a shock value Joe DeLeone? You do
I think it's
not.
great. I think we need more of this in college football. I think we need more
No, we don't.
more destroying of other people's property. I want that back. I want that back.
I want more. Yeah. You are rich hearing
Why?
that come out of your mouth. That
Why?
is wild.
Why am I'm more of an
Do I
asshole
need to
than
bring
you
up
are.
the ta-
Why
do I
are
need
you
to bring
sho-
up the table? If we're talking about other people's
But that
property
was
and the
my
destruction.
table.
Exactly.
Okay,
And if it's
that
your
doesn't-
team's logo, then you're sitting. Who does this guy think he is?
Yeah, but I'm not. It's not my team's logo, and I'm not on the team of the person who did the pissing. I have no stock in either side. So you know what my thought process is? That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. And you know what I hope happens next year? I
What?
hope New Mexico shows up, beats New Mexico State, and then in their practice facility, in their locker room, wherever it is on their logo, the whole team pisses on it. Just the whole
Oh, I thought you were going
entire
a
team.
messier route.
No. Oh, I mean, if they defecated all over it, that'd be even better.
Yeah,
I'm voting for all that. I think we need that in college football.
Your inability to comprehend irony is my favorite thing about you. Or maybe you do comprehend it, you just don't respect the laws of it. And then maybe that's just where I'm sitting at. It's my table, so that's why it matters to me. And it doesn't matter because it's not your team's logo.
Even if I was playing at New Mexico, it's not my practice field. It's the team's practice field because in 2-3 years, whatever, when I graduate, I'm gone. I'm not on that practice field ever again. By the way, what soft ass leaked this video? By the way, how can you?
I don't know.
Video?
I don't know why this gets. Well, you know why? You know why it got leaked? Because they won.
Why?
That's why. If they lost, that's going in the vault. I don't know why people can't just keep stuff to themselves. The incriminating videos that you see just generally on Twitter. Why post that? Why think that you should post that? Why is that good for you? It's not bad. Don't do that. Why are you locked? Why are you in court right now, having to do this? Because your buddy posted it, and now this is gonna be posted. He's got to go meet with the athletic department. See what happens. This will be a fun saga to track.
At Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We'll be back.